I forgot to push the button, but I have one question and one question only about week one in the NFL so far. Chris,
What in the all types of blue hell
was that? We're going to have fun breaking this down, especially when we get Jay Spivey in here during hour 2. But it's hour 1, and we got some ish to talk. Let's go.
Can't do it. We'll do it live. Do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live!
Mister, will you please wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up?
Good morning! Snowman here to all you Brock Purdy and San Francisco 49er haters. Shut up! I gotta thank you, Shane.
I mean, whatever happened to the games where breaking 100 points was, I don't know, unusual?
There was one word to sum up the All-Star weekend.
Trays. Cause we take this job so serious.
Splash Brothers, yes. Ray Allen, replace him with Steve Kerr. Reggie Miller, yeah.
What in the all types of blue hell?
Oh, yeah! We are just going to get right into it because I've got no sleep. I'm worried about my wife, and I want to make sure she's okay. Good morning. Welcome, one and all, to the week 1 Manic Monday edition of Snowman in the Morning. Glad to have y'all with us. We got a lot to talk about today. The regression of Jalen Hurts, the regression of Joe Burrow, the regression of Lamar Jackson, all on the docket this morning. But a reminder that on October 23rd and 24th, I'll be home for those 2 days. As Snowman in the Morning will originate from Chicago. My wife's on assignment, and I decided to tag along. So I'm going to find a spot to do the show and then rejoin my wife at her assignment. But that's 10 a.m. Central, 11 a.m. Eastern on October 23rd and 24th from downtown Chicago.
That means pizza is in order.
Damn straight. Damn straight. And lots of it. Let's get to the Fanatics feedback zone. First and foremost, Sick Diggy is in. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Kenneth Clark joins us as well. Hey, my friend, how are you today? I'm doing good. Let's get ready for NFL today, and I'm ready for tonight. More on that later. RC, All Iowa, says week 1 was pretty damn fire. I disagree, and I have many, many reasons. And Nightfall Drop, my fellow 49er fan, says, what it do, Snowman? Bang, bang, Niner game, baby. We'll get to the big one tonight a little bit later. Now, we were talking in pre-show on where to start this.
Oh, yes, we did.
I mean, there are so many things out there that are sitting for us on a silver platter of where we can start this. But I'm going to start in a place that we only mentioned briefly. I'm going to start in Atlanta with Kirk 2 Chainz Cousins. What the hell was that? I know I'm going to be saying that a lot today, but
ring rust. It's ring rust.
You know,
ass.
Like
it's not ring rust. It's not ring rust. It's the rust. It's the rust of the offensive line, which there is none.
Fair.
I love Atlanta. Like I want them to go back to the old jerseys, please.
I'll take that. I'll take that.
I'm disappointed. I can't even really say much. Like I'm disappointed. I had you all heard me all year long saying Kirk 2 Chainz Cousins.
Yeah.
He's gonna revolutionize
all summer. You were convincing us that 2 Chainz was going to be the man in Atlanta.
I gotta give Dre props because we were sitting here clowning Atlanta ever since the draft.
Yep.
And
because
Dre was
of
the
what
one that
they
said,
did.
hold on, give it some time. You have
and I'll still give it some time. I'll still say give it some time. It's week 1.
You know what?
It's just
I'm off that bandwagon.
I think
I'm going to say that right. I'm going to say that right now.
I'm gonna
until I see Michael Penix Jr. running the offense.
I will put.
I ain't sold.
I'll put it like this. I think me personally, I think I'm gonna stay on for a bit because it is just week 1, and we talked about this with Jay Spivey either last week or 2 weeks ago about how bad preseason has been.
This is fair. This is true.
Has put out the true offenses.
This is true.
The starters are not getting reps. It's good.
The starters are not getting reps. They've shortened the preseason to 3 games and not 4, and they extended the NFL season. Yeah. So as much as I clown 2 Chainz Cousins, every point that was just brought up just now, very fair. Very fair.
Also, I want to say, like, I love Michael Penix, but he is not ready.
Agreed. I'll agree with that.
You can argue Michael Penix is better than Kirk Cousins all you want, but he's not ready yet. You got to give it time. You got to let him marinate in the league.
Not ready for prime time. Someone else who showed he wasn't ready for prime time presides in the Windy City.
Oh, God.
I had hoped for there to be an inkling of saying, okay, Caleb's going to come in and prove Snowman wrong. Nope.
As Droid was teasing me about my wife's Colts losing to the eventual division champion Texans yesterday, at least for this week, I get to let Victor have it about the supposed number 1 pick in the draft.
Hey,
what was that?
He wasn't my number 1 pick.
I know he wasn't. He wasn't Droid's. He wasn't. He sure as hell wasn't mine.
But the
he sure as hell wasn't mine.
The thing is, the Bears had no options.
Listen,
remember.
Right. They have no options. Yesterday's game in Chicago, if we're going to recap games, we may as well start with that one. And I'll use a word that Victor used to me yesterday to describe said game in Chicago. It was a freaking slog.
It was a slog.
That game at Soldier Field, well, I can't say venerable now because of how it looks, but
the spaceship.
because we've been in there.
We have, and it's beautiful
because we've been in there. Look, let me read some numbers to you.
Please do.
Will Levis, 19 of 32, 127 yards. He threw a touchdown and a pick.
Okay.
And the
Well, yeah,
Titans
you have Seahawks to throw to.
and the Titans that game away. Even given the fact that a former Cowboy named Tony Pollard carried the ball 16 times for 82 yards and a touchdown, which will lead me to where I want to go next segment. Now you got this fool named Caleb Williams, who was 14 for 29. Arku, you ain't heard slander yet, brother. Caleb Williams was 14 of 29. Let me say that again. He was 14 of 29 in a game that began with 4 punts. 2 for the Titans, 2 for the Bears. And then the Titans actually became competent and went 79 yards in 9 plays and ate up 4:45 off the clock.
Okay.
And Tony Pollard broke the ice with a 26-yard touchdown. He had 4 less yards on that touchdown carry than DeAndre Swift had altogether. That is a problem.
What did I say about them grossly misusing DeAndre Swift? DeAndre Swift, for all his vaunted genius, he gets misused by every team he's been on since he's left the Lions.
He got misused by the Lions. He got misused horribly by the Detroit Lions.
Not necessarily. He made his hay off the Lions.
He got beat up, misused, and abused by the Detroit Lions. I said it. He got misused and abused by the Detroit Lions.
I heavily disagree with that.
And he got misused by the Philadelphia Eagles. And now he is going to get beat up even worse with the Chicago Bears.
I agree with those two. Still disagree with the Lions part, but that's what it is.
See, here is the major domo problem I have with the Chicago Bears. It's the organization. They can't draft anybody. Let me ask this question.
Or they draft incorrect people.
Let me ask this question. Have they ever had a franchise quarterback? I rest my case. Big Pig on the Fighting Irish and Cowboys says the Bears won because of special teams, defense, luck, and inexperienced opponent and forcing turnovers. All that is true.
I'm going to say this.
All that is definitely true.
I'm going to say this one of 2 times. You know the other one is. But it's going to be a question that you're going to hear twice. Against a failing team, how in God's name do you look that average?
Oh, we got a few teams that looked average.
The Bears look average.
That began Thursday night.
The Bears look average at best against Tennessee.
Let me go a little further because Nightfall Drop, who joins us, says, yes, they had Jim McMahon. Let me explain something to you, Nightfall Drop. I love you dearly, but Jim McMahon was not a franchise quarterback. He couldn't stay on the damn field. He got one.
He would be as close as you can because he did win a chip.
Do you know who I thought their franchise quarterback should have been?
Eric Kramer.
Because Eric Kramer, absolutely.
Eric Kramer. I understand that. I do understand
Eric Kramer is their franchise quarterback. I don't even want to get started on Jay Cutler.
For me, I would say Jim Miller because of him having more games, him having more years, and him having a lot of the better years that the Bears had, where they were hitting playoff after playoff.
Mm-hmm.
Jim Miller was that guy, and he never blamed anybody. If it was his fault, he manned up and took responsibility for it. So
something Caleb Williams needs to learn to do and learn to do very soon.
Oh, we'll get to him because
we will get to Caleb Williams.
But Caleb,
all 3 of us, me, Droid, and Vicalar, are going to take a shot at Caleb Williams. So, Arku, buckle up.
Please do, man. I'm sorry.
You know
Matter of
what?
fact, let me do this now. Let's do this triple play right now.
Okay.
And Victor's going to lead off. This is us destroying Caleb Williams. Now sit your ass down. Round 1 to Victor.
So here's my problem. I was hoping that Caleb Williams would do well and at least give Snowman pause. Not to say change his mind, but pause.
Right.
And say, maybe there's something here.
Did you say
nope?
pause?
Just pause. Nope. Caleb Williams did exactly what Snowman said. Once again, looking the ball too long, holding the ball for too long, looking lost out there, can't make quick reads.
Nope.
Caleb.
Nope.
Do you understand that you are coming into an organization that has not won a Super Bowl since 1985? Has not been to a Super Bowl since what, 2006?
2006.
And is on the cusp to becoming the butt of the NFC North. You cannot look this average, this lost, this early.
Keep in mind, the last time the Bears were in a Super Bowl, I was just a little baby.
Right.
Actually, wait, what year was it?
1985.
1985
last
was the
time they were in a Super Bowl.
2006. 06.
Last time they were in a Super Bowl was 2006.
Yep.
I was 3. Actually, no. If the Super Bowl was still in February, I was 2.
Dang, you were young. Man, oh man.
When Snowman started this show, I was 10.
It's just I don't understand.
You do me much honor, Droid. You do me much honor. No, I love when Droid said that. The last time the Bears participated in a Super Bowl, which was 2006. 2 weeks prior, they beat the hell out of Drew Brees and the New Orleans Saints.
Yes.
In the snow. In Soldier Field, despite the Saints having Reggie Bush.
Man. But
you know what I was doing for the NFC Championship? You know what I was doing for Championship Sunday?
What's that?
I was delivering pizzas.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. I remember you saying
that. And I made $1,000 that week, that weekend.
Nice.
That day alone, I started delivering when the Bears kicked off. No, half hour before the Bears kicked off, because the Bears kicked off at 3. Okay.
Yeah.
So actually, this is gonna lead into a story, and I'll let you finish.
I got started at 2:30 that afternoon. Got out of the house. Didn't tell my parents a thing what I was doing. I came back home with $1,000.
Beautiful. That's beautiful.
Only thing Dad asked me was, you know who won? Yes, sir. Okay. My mother, that's a different tale for a different time. That's a different tale for a different time and a different podcast. But Victor, please continue.
But again, it's just, how do you look that average? This was the team. This team was served up on a silver platter for you to beat down.
Yes.
To beat down, beat up, and send them back. Send a message to the rest of the NFC North and the NFL saying, yo, I have arrived.
We all know what happened.
Yeah, we know what happened.
But this leads into a story. So, as y'all know, I'm a Chiefs fan. Been a Chiefs fan since Alex Smith was the starter. Since we had Jamal Charles as our running back.
Out of Texas.
And I miss Jamal Charles. I'll be real. I love Isaiah Pacheco, but I miss Jamal. When he left to Denver, I was heartbroken. I felt betrayed.
Same with me when Roger Craig left for the Raiders. But go on.
And these last few years, I'm a pizza delivery guy. That's what I've been paid to do this entire time. This is how I've kept myself fed.
Mm-hmm.
Is delivering pizzas and editing.
Yes.
When I tell you, my boss hated me. He scheduled me on every playoff game for the
I'm
Chiefs.
not surprised. I'm not surprised. That
because
was
nobody else would take it.
That was
except me.
2006. That was 2006.
That's so petty.
So from 2019, 2020, just before that whole virus
Before
stuff
all
happened,
hell broke loose.
from 2019, 2020 to last year,
Mhm.
I have worked every playoff game
Yikes.
except last year. My previous boss had been fired the year prior, and my shift ended at the beginning of the fourth quarter, so I had to rush home to
Mhm.
watch us beat the Eagles by a field goal.
Yow.
Man.
Yikes.
I am
Yeah.
happy that I have my new boss, but I had to deliver. So this previous year Super Bowl against San Francisco 49ers,
Mhm.
my shift ended just before the game started, and the rule was everybody goes home start of Super Bowl, like just before the Super Bowl starts, so everybody can get home and enjoy the game. That's my
Yep.
boss's mentality. He got permission to do it, and I love him to death for that.
Hats
Good.
off to him. Hats off to him for that, man.
And
Hats
I went
off to him.
I went home, watched the game with my dad, celebrated a Super Bowl win, and then let's say about four months later, celebrated a Stanley Cup with him.
Mhm.
Yep. With the
So
Panthers.
you can say my family liege has an eye for championship teams.
Mhm. I had that eye in my household. And to continue Droid's story, I had that eye in my household. Thank you, Joe Montana. I cannot tell y'all how many times my mother begged me to root for the Bears. And in my mind, flipped them off every time. My dad
And,
laughed.
This is the most embarrassing thing I'll ever say.
Go for it.
I, just like I did with Bobby Witt Jr., doubted the hell out of Mahomes when I heard he was announced as the starter.
That's
I said,
normal.
what? He played one good game against Denver when we started to rest Smith for the playoffs? He ain't going to do nothing. And then he decided to prove me wrong the following year by taking us to the AFC Championship.
But that's the beauty of it, though. The beauty is not being vindicated when you downplay. It's when being proven wrong. It's like, you know what? This helps my team out, and I want to see the young man succeed.
Like, he took us all the way to the AFC Championship. We all know what happened there. We lost to the Patriots.
Mm-hmm.
In overtime. Yep.
And
I
then
was hoping he'd
Super
pull
Bowl
that.
win. Super Bowl win, Super Bowl loss, and then 2 more Super Bowl wins on top of that.
I was so hoping Mahomes would do well because I saw him play at Texas Tech.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, whichever team gets him, they're getting a gem.
Yeah.
And I just want to
knew it.
remind y'all of another quarterback that came from college football. We all know his name. I talked about him in the group chat yesterday. Carson Palmer.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I remember.
You want to know what I think would have happened to Palmer if they had just kept him in Cincinnati with Chad Johnson, a.k.a. Chad Ochocinco?
Mm-hmm.
You know what would have happened? I guarantee you the Bengals would have made the AFC Championship that year.
No. They would have gotten run the hell over like they were supposed to.
By who?
Carson Palmer. Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh stuck a foot in their ass every time Cincinnati had playoff hopes.
Pittsburgh was on the
Not
decline, though.
Yeah, but a defense can rescue you.
The thing I have an argue about Carson Palmer is you got to remember he had 2 legendary receivers to throw to, Chad Ochocinco and Larry Fitzgerald. He had taken both teams to the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's considered one of the worst quarterbacks of all time. Make it make sense.
I'll make it make sense.
No, that's gonna last.
I want y'all to think with
Now
Caleb Williams with me the same way I thought about Mahomes. Hate him his first year, just so he can prove us wrong next year.
Right.
It's the same thing I did with Jordan Love. I hated him so much after Rodgers went down.
Mm-hmm.
You're not the only one.
You're not the only one.
Also, I really hope that he has a speedy recovery.
I think we all harbored a little premature hatred for Jordan Love.
I really hope he has a speedy recovery, though.
I hope he has a speedy recovery and gets back.
It's only an MCL. It's only an MCL.
Good.
He will be fine.
Good.
Okay.
Good. We gotta take a break.
He will recover very quickly, actually. And he should be back around mid-season.
Because I want a rematch with him. I want to see him week 12 when we go to Green Bay.
Oh, you'll definitely see him
in the division playoffs.
You will 100% see him.
I will stop this for now because I got the feeling we're going to fill in a few more blanks. Get up, Caleb.
There was another thing I wanted to talk about.
Uh-oh.
And it's Lamar Jackson. I have one question for you.
Hold on to that thought. We will get to Lamar Jackson because I have quite a few things to say about Lamar Jackson.
Oh no, I just have one question, folks. I just have one question,
and that is,
where did his IQ go?
We'll
discuss that.
We'll touch on that.
We will definitely touch on that before hour 2 because I have a few things to say about both Lamar Jackson and Jalen Hurts. And nobody who's a fan of either of those teams are going to like what old Snowman has to say. But when we come back, to borrow from the legendary Bill Goldberg, Dak Prescott, you're next.
Oh, boy.
Back in a flash.
I want to do a TED Talk, but I don't have anything to talk about yet. I'm getting there.
Life is for the living. We're not here that long.
You can learn anything you want to learn without any money spent.
What do I really enjoy? What do I really want out of life?
I am your host, WIZE.
Are you in a life holding pattern? Well, this is for you. Welcome to the Stuck in My Mind podcast. Live every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday at 4 p.m. Central. Hey everybody, Snowman here. Looking for the best way to experience live events? Well, SeatGeek has you covered. With just a few taps on your phone, you can find the best seats for concerts, sports, theater, and more. Don't miss out on unforgettable moments. Download the SeatGeek app today and get ready for an experience like no other. Each ticket is vetted for authenticity and ranked on a 1 to 10 scale. And right now, if you sign up and use the code Snowman, you will get $20 off of your first purchase. That's only through the power of SeatGeek, where fans can fan. Hey, Eagles fan. Join my man Cool McCain and a host of others as they break down every single game, every single week in an objective manner, and also from a fan's perspective as well. Remember, this cast feels just like you. Nobody likes you. And you don't care. Fly, Eagles, fly. Eagles Elite Podcast. Every Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern on YouTube and other podcast outlets.
Mister, how do you operate this Twitter thing or this Instagram thing or whatever the heck? You're supposed to know all this stuff. Anyway, welcome back to the show.
We're getting started, just getting started here on this Manic Monday edition of Snowman in the Morning. Glad to have y'all with us. And today's episode is brought to you by You're the Coach, the ultimate football board game. And now you can actually buy a franchise using that game, and you can play it here on the channel. I'll give you more details about that as we go along. Let's not waste any more time. And I am going to start this one.
Oh, dear.
Mr. Prescott, I have a few things to say to you.
Lord.
Now, where do I begin?
I know where to start.
I can begin here. Dak Prescott, you a bitch.
I know.
You want to tell me while the rest of your Cowboys was beating the ever-loving out of Cleveland, you did not look like, nor will ever look like, an MVP candidate at all. 19 of 32, 179 yards plus a touchdown. And you had less yards than the millions of dollars that they just paid you in a contract extension.
Oh, let me jump on that right quick before you go any further, sir. So,
the floor is yours.
I have been saying for a bit that it is in the Cowboys' best interest to just tank this season. Now, before you get the pitchforks out, let me explain. As of right now, 2024, the Super Bowl window.
I love you, Victor.
So do I for that one.
I've
got to use that. I've got to use that. Go on, sir.
As of right now, the Super Bowl window for the Dallas Cowboys is closed. You have Kansas City basically ruling the roost, and riding their heels is San Francisco. We still got to contend with the Philadelphia Eagles. Baltimore is kind of hot and cold. We're probably not going to be the best team in Texas because of how well the Texans are doing.
Thank you, CJ Stroud.
Now,
that's the only time I'm ever going to hear you say that.
Now, I will say this. It would be best in the Cowboys' interest to tank this season, get a high draft pick, and probably look for someone that they've been talking about in Shedeur Sanders. Now, we don't know if he's going to join the draft this year or not.
He shouldn't.
He's a senior, ain't he?
No.
Well,
I'll talk about that at a later date.
Now, I will say that was the plan from what I heard from Gerald Land, was that they were planning to not re-extend Dak, and they were going to go for Shedeur Sanders. You know, Dion, former Cowboy, probably got a good relationship with Gerald. It on paper, it makes sense, right? Maybe they saw the Nebraska game and said, nope. Because they ran back to the Dak Prescott bandwagon and paid him 4 years.
All over it.
They paid him 4 years, $240 million.
Down the drain. Wasted. Gone.
Down the freaking tubes.
Best way to show that you are still going to be mired in mediocrity. Have we not had enough? Have we not had enough? Do we not have enough of a sample size to prove Dak is just a really good, okay, pretty good regular season quarterback? He puts up good numbers in regular season. That's fine. Heck, he didn't even turn the ball over. Wonderful. You shouldn't turn the ball over against the Cleveland Browns anyway, but I digress.
I love you, Victor. I love you very much for that.
Well, for God's sakes. Again, same time I ask the question, how do you look this average against the Cleveland Clowns? And I'm going to say it this way. I know there's a lot I want to say, but I'm going to stay on deck for right now. You didn't look like a $240 million quarterback, Dak. You look more
Oh,
like
God.
a $179 million, maybe $160 quarterback, $160 million quarterback. But
No, you got it right the first time.
I mean, how do you only get 10 more yards passing than Deshaun Watson? I looked at the stats. Dak was 179 yards. Deshaun was only 169. The Browns defense is not that good that you can't squeak out a good 300, 350 yards. 300 to 350 yards against the Browns defense. That secondary is not that great.
I was waiting for that.
God.
May I continue?
Please.
Listen, Dak Prescott, you weren't all that at Mississippi State after you ended up with egg on your face against Mississippi. Anyone who knows that joke completely gets it. Hell, my wife even got it, and she watches more less college football than I, and even she got the joke. But you are now the quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys for the next 4 years. You know what I compare this to? I compare this to the extension the Bears gave, say it with me, to DJ Moore. You gave $240 million to a quarterback that, let me think.
Proved himself.
Let me think. You gave $240 million to a quarterback that is just about as average, mediocre, worse than Deshaun Watson. You gave $240 million to a quarterback that got absolutely creamed on the last play of the game 2 years ago in Santa Clara. You gave $240 million to a quarterback that looked like a deer in headlights the moment he stepped onto the field. And that's especially true come playoff time. Then you have this game where he threw the ball 32 times, completed 19, had 179 yards. Okay? Whoopee. Had a touchdown. Whoopee. I hate saying it this way to the moronic Republic of Cowboy Nation.
No, you don't.
But Dak Prescott is not worth the money. He wasn't worth the money in the original contract. He certainly is not worth the money now.
I'll say this.
Will he ever be worth the money? Not a chance.
I'm going to say it like this. He was worth it the first go round because, my God, he did have a lot going for him. Good feet, good arm, great vision. But then you get to after his first extension.
Yep. He got fat and happy.
And he regressed so bad. He regresses worse than Jalen Hurts has. Sorry, cool.
And I'll get to Jalen Hurts
later.
I will get to Jalen Hurts.
But Christ on a crutch, dude. You get this monumental extension and you play like that?
Listen.
I called this game the battle of the overpaid and overrated.
You got that right.
Deshaun Watson, Dak Prescott.
Both wearing number 4.
Both got massive contracts that they didn't earn.
And for what? Okay? Massive contracts that they did not earn. And I'll repeat it again. And for what? 8 years into season 9 now, I believe, you still look like a deer in headlights in your rookie year. We can allow you that your rookie year. We can't allow you this now.
Exactly. Still throwing off on the run, still throwing off the back foot. bro, this is not college anymore. This is not your first trial run. You're now been in for almost 9 years.
And you still look
look timid.
That.
You still look timid.
Man, he looks more timid than Deshaun Watson going into a massage parlor after everything happened.
Droid, help me out here. You I know you got some burners for this man. Just start letting them out.
Droid, the floor is yours. Take it.
Listen, I've had the unfortunate nature of being forced to draft Dak Prescott in my fantasy league the last few years.
I am so sorry.
Apologies.
Luckily, I got CJ Stroud this year. But
Good.
you know who I had to have backing him up?
Oh, no.
Mr. Prescott.
Mr. Prescott. And to say that he has lost me money is an understatement.
Did you try to make a trade at the very
I
least?
attempted. I tried to make a trade for AR5. Then he got injured, and I, of course, took the trade back.
Mm-hmm.
I tried to trade for CJ Stroud. Nobody gave me a good offer.
Yeah, you're going to have to come over the top of an
So
offer for CJ
the
Stroud.
rest of the year, I had to start Desmond Ridder.
Oh, my God. I'm so sorry.
Yikes.
For the rest of that year. I paid $20 to get into that league.
You had to start Desmond Ridder.
And the sad part is, there were some weeks where Dak, of course, performed well in fantasy. You know, he got me points, helped me win that week.
Right.
But when it came playoff time,
There you go. There you go.
Don't have to say anymore. Do not have to say anymore.
It was gone.
Just,
I lost hope.
You ain't the only one.
I never had hope when it came to Prescott.
The thing is,
honestly. And the other thing is, gentlemen, Gerald is paying all this money for 2 playoff wins.
2
in 8 years.
And don't get me started on that post that Mr. Shane Lake posted in the group chat this morning. Trying to say Mahomes and Prescott are the same.
You know what?
Up them playoff numbers, and I will show you that they are not the same.
Wow.
Okay. I saw that in the group
Shade
chat.
shows of violence.
And
shows of violence.
And now I'm going to choose violence in response.
Oh my goodness.
There are 3 differences. 3.
More than that.
Well, yeah, but 3 major differences between the King, Patrick Mahomes, and Dak Prescott.
I wouldn't call Mahomes a king yet. The crown is still on Montana's head.
You just made me weep in happiness with that statement. But
say now.
The 3 major differences between Dak Prescott and Patrick Mahomes: 54, 57, and 58. What are those, you ask? Super Bowl wins. Stupid fools.
Super Bowls.
And of course, it came from Fox Sports, so why are we surprised?
Speaking of which, this was the debut of Mr. TB12 as an analyst or as a commentator.
I think he did pretty good.
He did amazing. Honestly, I was right.
The only thing that I wish for TB12, that was a slog of a game yesterday.
I mean, I was like, wait, that's Brady. I'm like,
that's Brady.
He sounds like he's made for that. He's made for it.
20 years, lots of interviews. Yeah. Come on. Listen. Tom Brady is a natural.
Right.
Okay. He built himself up to be who he is as a quarterback. He's an absolute natural as an analyst. I mean, hell, 22 years playing.
Yeah.
You think he has one or two notes in his head?
I had to give him props for that. I was like, that was really nice, man. That was really good. Great maiden
I can
voyage.
tell at points where he was nervous, but he got over it quickly. But
well, here's the thing. I would be nervous too if it's my first time on a desk.
I wouldn't be. I wouldn't be.
My man, you have
at least experience. We're talking about a quarterback who's has no analyst experience.
You have been killing this.
But he played the key position. He played quarterback.
You Snowman, you have been killing this for well over 40 years. You've been killing the game.
Also, I want to take a break from Dak because I have somebody who just sent me a message.
Okay.
And I believe they are clowns for saying this.
Oh, trust me.
I got
Go ahead.
Top 3 running backs in the league.
Mm-hmm.
They said Keenan Williams, LAR.
Mm-hmm.
Huh?
Christian McCaffrey at 2.
CMC.
At 2?
At 2.
And Isaiah Pacheco at 1.
Who's the bitch?
Flip 1 and 2, and I'll be happy with that list.
Right. Well, here's the
but Keenan, but Keenan who? From where?
L.A. Rams.
Who took a? Where is it? Where is it? The Los Angeles Rams. Before the lights went out in the Snow household, took a big fat. In Detroit again. Now we'll kind of put a chill on the Prescott slander, but there will be more of it.
Oh, I got more people that need to get roasted.
Oh, but trust me. And the next one's coming up right now after I say that is Snowman's take on Dak Prescott. What is yours?
Can I just throw some Pennywise? You suck. Please quit. Please quit. Okay. Here's what really upset me about the whole game.
Victor, go for it.
Here's something about the whole game, right? Yeah, the Cowboys handle their business against the Browns. Like they're supposed to. In fact, it was so bad that I would elect for Cleveland to be known as Boo Ohio.
Yeah, with how the fans were booing yesterday.
My gracious. But the killer, right? Brandon Aubrey.
Oh, jeez.
The man with the golden foot right now. 4 for 4. Booted a 57-yarder. And then said, how can I do better? I know. Let me boot a 66-yard field goal before the half. Let me boot a 66-yarder through the uprights.
With room to spare.
With room to spare. And you'll never see a highlight of it. Why?
Because they were wiped out by penalties.
Because delay of game. So either Trash Scott, who couldn't see the play clock, couldn't call timeout, or Pennywise, who couldn't see the clock, didn't call timeout. Either way, one of you two idiots have to answer for the fact that in my opinion, one of the longer field goals that we probably will never see again got wiped out.
Again, folks, these are the random...
Congratulations.
You fool!
Oh my God.
These are the random musings of, if I can find it.
This is Cowboys football. Didn't miss it.
Let's take a break. When you all get back, Deshaun Watson Your ass is fried. Next.
Whether it's news, the largest egg producer finds bird flu in chickens at a Texas plant, weather, devastating tornadoes rip through the heart of the United States, inspiration, a breast cancer survivor completed the journey of chemotherapy, and now begins a future one of matrimony or sports. Michael Jordan is shown on a photo with Diddy. LeBron James has a video extolling the virtues of a Diddy party. This has been yet another Beating a Dead Horse presentation. We got you covered. BS3 Network, in association with Comey Media Incorporated, proudly present The Morning Shift with Cole Johnson. Live every weekday at 8 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Central.
I want to do a TED Talk, but I don't have anything to talk about yet. I'm getting there.
Life is for the living. We're not here that long.
You can learn anything you want to learn without any money spent.
What do I really enjoy? What do I really want out of life?
I am your host, WIZE.
Are you in a life-holding pattern? Well, this is for you. Welcome to the Stuck in My Mind podcast. Live every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday at 4 p.m. Central.
Hey everybody, Snowman here. Looking for the best way to experience live events? Well, SeatGeek has you covered. With just a few taps on your phone, you can find the best seats for concerts, sports, theater, and more. Don't miss out on unforgettable moments. Download the SeatGeek app today and get ready for an experience like no other. Each ticket is vetted for authenticity and ranked on a 1 to 10 scale. And right now, if you sign up and use the code Snowman, you will get $20 off of your first purchase. That's only through the power of SeatGeek, where fans can fan.
Mister, how do you operate this Twitter thing or this Instagram thing or whatever the heck? You're supposed to know all this stuff. Anyway, welcome back to the show.
Welcome back as we are on a quarterback roasting tirade this morning after what we saw through our eyes of parts of week one. And tonight, Aaron Rodgers and the Jets take on Glock Purdy and the San Francisco 49ers. I will have the call of that game. We'll start our pregame at 7:45 with an 8:15 kickoff.
Probably some
Now,
good freaking football.
Exactly. Now, I got a present for you, Victor.
Sure, what's up?
This has been yet another Beating a Dead Horse presentation.
Magnificent. Absolutely magnificent. Absolutely magnificent.
I thought you'd enjoy that.
No, that out of a slog
From the maestro
that makes me
himself.
happy.
From the maestro himself.
Yes. Thank you so much for that.
And for those of you who missed it, here it is again.
This has been yet another Beating a Dead Horse presentation.
You know we're gonna need.
What's that?
We have a conversation with a bronsexual, right?
Oh, dear God.
And we have a
Yes.
conversation with the Bradyite
Mm-hmm.
and even urbanologists.
Had plenty of those.
We're gonna need a conversation with a Moronic Republic member.
Oh, hell no.
Here's
Hell
why.
no.
When
I'll cuss.
when the
Victor,
debate.
stop. I'll let you say why in a minute. And you know I'm laughing right now, right?
Yes.
You know why I say no to that?
Because you'll cuss.
A lot.
Everyone will cuss a lot.
Yes. Even Droid, who is a Chiefs fan, will cuss a lot.
Will cuss.
And you know Shane will go completely berserk.
Man.
You know Shane will go completely berserk.
Yes. It just here's
Hell, let's really have fun. My wife will swear a lot.
Yeah.
Okay? Dr. K will not hold back.
She will lose it. Dr. K will lose it.
Dr. K will go even more nuts than I. Okay?
Here's why I say that.
All right.
So when the debate was going on about whether or not Dak Prescott was going to get an extension, and I, of course, said no. And I said, the problem is not Dak Prescott during the regular season. He puts up good numbers. You can see them. The stats speak for themselves.
Yep.
The problem is that when it comes to playoff time, when it comes to when it matters, when it comes to getting to the Super Bowl,
playoffs,
he can't win.
Playoffs?
He can't win, and he doesn't play well.
Listen, Patrick Mahomes can play a quarter of a game and have better stats than Dak Prescott in a full playoff game.
Well, Dak has to get there first. He can't get there.
I know that, but still.
But the
am I wrong?
Find
the lie.
You're not wrong.
Find the lie.
But here's the thing. I had Moronic Republic member after Moronic Republic member, all with their 10-gallon beer hats.
Oh, Jesus.
Telling me
What'd you
how
find
I'm
now?
wrong. They're like, well, what about those 3 passes CeeDee Lamb dropped? You can't just blame it all on Dak. I'm like, is it CeeDee Lamb's fault that Dak Prescott still throws off the back foot? Better yet, is it CeeDee Lamb's fault that Dak Prescott, in a pivotal game, a divisional round game against the San Francisco 49ers, decided to throw the ball to the center to spot it? Is that CeeDee Lamb's fault?
And CeeDee Lamb ain't worth the money either.
I'm not saying
Snowman said it.
He's more worth it than Dak is.
That I'll agree with.
I mean, when you look, CeeDee Lamb is a versatile receiver. I saw a jet sweep that looks so doggone sweet.
True. I'll give you that. I will give you that. I will give you that.
But
to a point, I'll give you that with CeeDee Lamb.
But the problem is this. Again, it wasn't the receiver's fault that Dak can't realize, hey, I need to get the ball to the center or to the referee to spot the ball and then let my center take it. That's not the receiver's fault. I can't say anything about the center, about Zeke's center, because that was Pennywise. I can't put that on Dak. That was Pennywise that did this. That was his stupidity. But it's just like, you guys want to protect Dak so freaking much. It reminds me so much of Brett Favre. Because it's like, Brett Favre
won.
Well, here's the thing. This is what I'm saying. Is that everyone wants to like Dak because Dak's like a nice guy. He's like a good dude. Looks like he goes to church every Sunday. And he's a guy that you want to have a beer with. He looks like a guy you want a beer with. And that's fine. I think Dak is a pretty good dude. My problem is that guys that you want to have a beer with don't necessarily win your Super Bowls.
I have no comeback for that. I got a question. Since we're talking about them boys, who is going to step up for this Cowboys team?
You got me.
Because Ezekiel Elliott ain't going to do it.
Zeke looked
fine. Do I need to go there?
Here's the thing. Zeke looked fine for his return. It's his first time back under the Blue Star. He looked okay. He was 10 for 40 and a touch. I can't ask too much more of the dude, at least now. Okay. However, how do you get outshone by Tony Pollard? I'll never know, but that's a conversation for another time.
Shut up, Brian. It's too easy.
But Zeke, fine. I was a little confused. I'm like, number 15. Who's number 15? Like, oh, that's Zeke's number. Okay. Anyway, it's just again. Same story. The Cowboys look great against a weak team, even though I will say it, and I'm just saying it out as it is. Yesterday, the Cowboys escaped. They escaped with that win.
Yeah, they did, because Cleveland was on the way back.
Yes.
Cleveland was on the
offense
way
was
back.
getting back together.
They were getting their act together. A lot of people don't want to see it that way, but Cleveland was getting their act together.
Yes, when
After they got run over and the Cowboys raced out to a 27-3 lead, Cleveland started getting their act together.
It was one teeny tiny little problem. Easy me little problem.
And
the
that
quarterback is
is-
Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, big
Cleveland's quarterback
problem.
is Deshaun Watson. Who
Which
is
we'll get
trash.
to.
Who is
Which we will get to right now.
May I
When I saw that the Cleveland Browns signed Deshaun Watson to a, wait for it, fully guaranteed 5-year, $235 million contract, I only have one question.
What in the all types of blue hell
are you thinking?
I was going to ask if Droid starts this because I've started one, you started one. I want Droid to start this one, if he will.
Droid, it's all yours if you want it.
I'll let you have it.
You sure?
I ain't really got much to say because there isn't really much I should say on live.
Fair enough.
The FCC Airways will not be able to take the tirade of Droid right now when it comes to Deshaun Watson. Go ahead, Snowman.
Once again, when the Cleveland Clowns hit what? When the Cleveland Clowns. Why are you laughing at me?
I love that nickname.
Am I wrong?
It was like that team should be owned by Antonio Brown. It would just fit so much better.
When the Cleveland Clowns signed Deshaun Watson, taking a big chance
A massive
to a fully guaranteed, listen to me, ladies and gentlemen, a fully guaranteed 5-year, $230 million contract. The following question went in my head.
What in the all types of blue hell
are y'all thinking?
I have no clue. Cleveland was so doggone starved for
Deshaun
talent.
Watson is trash. He has been trash since he joined the Cleveland Browns. Now, I will say this out loud. What happened to him in Houston was totally unfair. He got screwed over by an organization because they didn't want to pay him. I get it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, Deshaun Watson screwed himself.
Yeah. A lot of controversies makes you very, very unattractive or unappealing when it comes to a organization. They do not want to deal with the distractions.
When I was living in North Carolina, me and the bride were just getting settled in North Carolina, and she saw something, and she came to me and she said, "Babe," I said, "Yes." "Are you reading this?" "Reading what?" "The latest rumor about Deshaun, what's his name? Deshaun Watson?" She says, "Yes." And she pointed me to a rumor that actually had him here.
Snowman would have burnt everything to the ground. He would have went to Santa Clara just to get mad.
Crisp.
He would have went to Santa Clara just
To
to
a
yell.
crisp. She showed me that,
And you
rubbed
lost.
my shoulders, and stepped back, and she says, "Okay, honey, let her rip." My next 3 words were, "Oh, hell no." She didn't even ask me why not.
No,
She
that
just
would be
asked me
me.
who the hell is she just asked me who the hell is he?
No, that would have been me. I would have done that.
I know.
I was like, oh, but why?
I know what I'd have chopped you in your throat.
What? What'd I do?
Right. What'd I say? What'd I say?
Shut up.
No, I know you would have gone so
because after Deshaun Watson screwed himself, on top of the fact that the Houston Texans screwed him because of the previous regime that's in charge, no team in the NFL should have taken a chance on him. Period. Let me say it again. No team in the NFL, after all that went down, bad joke. I couldn't help it. It sat in my head, okay?
It was there. It was there.
Should not have taken a chance on Deshaun Watson, period. You're seeing the end result of having 11 games off, then getting back into a season that was already lost, and this season is now lost. Why? You have Deshaun Watson as your quarterback.
Yep.
Let me say it again. The Cleveland Browns season is lost, done, finito, finished.
Washed.
Let me see if I can put my wife's southern twang on it. Washed.
Yes.
I can't say the way she says it, but
because again, it's the same thing I saw with Caleb Williams when it came to how Deshaun Watson played. And Deshaun Watson has more time. He's been on the field longer.
You know,
how bad is that?
I saw one pass from Caleb Williams. I saw one pass from Deshaun Watson. And I immediately said, there's no difference.
There isn't.
There's no difference between Caleb Williams and Deshaun Watson. If you could point out a difference between those two, it's the fact that Deshaun Watson has been in the league a few years. Matter of fact, I believe this to be his 8th season out of Clemson. Caleb Williams is a rookie. Caleb Williams sucks. Oh, Brian, stop. Okay.
Caleb Williams can be fixed. To a degree, he can be fixed. But Deshaun Watson cannot. My brain hurts.
Watson, your brain hurts. Your brain hurts.
Like that.
Every part of me hurts when it comes to quarterbacks like Deshaun Watson and Lamar Jackson and Jalen Hurts and Dak Prescott and whoever the hell else I can put on that list. Will Levis, Caleb Williams. My brain just hurts.
Here's the worst part about it, right? About especially with the Cowboys. I'll say with the Cowboys and Browns. 22 penalties. 22. Something that you brought up during the Nebraska-Colorado game, Snowman. Wasn't there a word, particularly it starts with a D?
Discipline?
Yeah. Where was the discipline? As far as the Browns
How many
go,
times did I say that in the second half Saturday night?
I lost count of 24.
Fair enough.
Here's the thing. If there's in the Webster dictionary, under the term buyer's remorse, that's a picture of the Cleveland elf. There's a picture of an elf. That under buyer's remorse, that's the picture that's going to describe buyer's remorse, because that's what they've been feeling ever since they brought Deshaun Watson over.
And to think there was hype about this game.
I couldn't understand why.
Actual hype about this game. Why?
Well, I'll say why. Because the Morocco Republic really believed that this was their opening statement. This was their statement game to let the rest of the league know that we're coming for the Super Bowl crown. That's why.
And where do they play in week 6? Detroit.
Detroit, yeah.
Then a bye. Listen,
in the Santa Clara.
Week 6 through 8 will terminate the Cowboys season.
I'll put it
because
like this.
week 6 they have to go to Detroit and get shredded by a 33-year-old Jared Goff. Then they have to fly all the way back to Texas, lick their wounds, and then week 8 happens.
I still say don't show up. Just forfeit. Don't show up. Prepare for the next one. Why go all the way to Santa Clara to get your tail kicked in? Why? No point.
Tail, nose. Listen, I know I have a lot of folks that love the Cleveland Browns, but y'all haven't had a quarterback since Bernie Kosar. And Deshaun Watson is not the answer.
No.
Oh, by the way, who is he going to hand the ball off to? I've said this a lot all season also.
You got me.
I rest my case.
I mean, Ford looked decent for the time that they actually could move the football, but
who?
Ford. And if you say who again, you just answered your own question. Because I didn't know who he was.
I don't know who the hell he is, and I don't want to know who the hell he is. But the moronic republic of Cowboy Nation is going to be so overhyped this week.
They already were. We didn't get through
worse.
a half. Snowman, on my Discord, we didn't get through a half.
That's why I hid here in my office.
Until the first inklings of, this is it. This is our year. We're going to Super Bowl. Told y'all.
Look, you
didn't even wait a half.
You know what my wife did for me?
What'd she do?
She brought me a piping hot bowl of stew.
Nice.
Gave me a back rub here in the office. And gave me an affirmation of belief because she saw on my screen while I'm writing notes was that game.
Oh, God. She
says, when do your 49ers play? They play tomorrow night. And they're the hottest ticket in town. Yep.
I really think.
She says, that's all I need to know.
I really think that both the Cowboys, that someone from the press of both the Cowboys and the Cleveland should write a formal apology to the fans for that game. Both of them. And read them simultaneously on ESPN.
You're asking for too much right. Trust me.
They both need to publicly apologize. I didn't feel this. I have not been this upset at a football game since, and I hate to say this, Dr. K, because I love you, but the Indianapolis-Denver game. I have not been so bored with a football game since then.
Look, Dr. K herself can tell you how bored she was with that game. A side note before we go to a break about that game, the all field goal game between the Colts and the Broncos. Jody and I were sitting on the couch watching that game. I was the only one left by the time the second quarter began.
She tapped out. She said, nope.
She tapped out and said, I already know how this is going to go. I'm out.
And
left. She came back, gave me a big slooping kiss and said, I know you got to make your notes, but I can tell you already, both teams deserve to lose. And walked out.
They did deserve to lose.
Which is what Cleveland's going to be doing a lot of this year.
Oh, yeah.
No playoff for you. See you later, Deshaun. Get up. Coming up next, JJ himself is going to be quite mad at me.
Uh-oh.
And so are fans of the Baltimore Ravens.
We want Lamar. We want Lamar.
Don't forget, an old Snowman and family will be in Chicago, October 22nd and 23rd. 3rd. We'll do the show live in downtown Chicago starting at 10 a.m. 10 a.m. Central Time. I beg your pardon. 11 a.m. Eastern Time. So yeah, week before Halloween, old Snowman will be home for a couple of days, which means, as Victor said in pre-show, pizza is in order. Lots of it. Besides, I owe that to my wife.
This has been yet another Beating a Dead Horse presentation.
I will never get tired of playing that.
I'm going to hear that a lot, and I'm going to enjoy it.
So am I. So am I. We're back in 2.5 minutes.
I want to do a TED Talk, but I don't have anything to talk about yet. I'm getting there.
Life is for the living. We're not here that long.
You can learn anything you want to learn without any money spent.
What do I really enjoy? What do I really want out of life?
I am your host, WIZE.
Are you in a life-holding pattern? Well, this is for you. Welcome to the Stuck in My Mind podcast. Live every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday at 4 p.m. Central.
Hey everybody, Snowman here. Looking for the best way to experience live events? Well, SeatGeek has you covered. With just a few taps on your phone, you can find the best seats for concerts, sports, theater, and more. Don't miss out on unforgettable moments. Download the SeatGeek app today and get ready for an experience like no other. Each ticket is vetted for authenticity and ranked on a 1 to 10 scale. And right now, if you sign up and use the code Snowman, you will get $20 off of your first purchase. That's only through the power of SeatGeek, where fans can fan.
Hey, Eagles fan. Join my man Cool McCain and a host of others as they break down every single game, every single week in an objective manner, and also from a fan's perspective as well. Remember, this cast feels just like you. Nobody likes you. And you don't care. Fly, Eagles, fly. Eagles Elite Podcast. Every Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern on YouTube and other podcast outlets.
Mister, how do you operate this Twitter thing or this Instagram thing or whatever the heck? You're supposed to know all this stuff. Anyway, welcome back to the show.
Ain't nobody calling me.
This has been yet another Beating a Dead Horse presentation.
Good grief.
No more. No more. No more Tam.
Oh, trust me, we'll be hearing lots of Tams in the next 2 weeks.
Oh, Lordy. Okay.
Tam's going to act a fool. Anyway.
Just like the Moronic Republic, right?
That's every day.
Okay.
He's the leader of the Moronic Republic. What do you mean?
He's more like they're just their singer, just their spokesperson. Gerald is their leader. Gerald is their leader. All right. Now, Droid, who was it you wanted to call out specifically? Droid wanted
to call somebody out.
I believe it was the quarterback of the Ravens, but I might be wrong.
Former Louisville quarterback.
Yep, that's him. That's him. And Droid read my mind as we present to you a triple play roasting of the supposed MVP. Sit down, Lamar. Now go.
Now, I gotta ask, how many cameras do you think are in an average NFL game to make sure every play is called correctly?
Ooh.
30.
Definitely more than that.
32.
And how many cameras showed Isaiah Likely's foot out of bounds?
All of them.
All of them.
So now, Lamar, why do you go on an interview and say, I still think it's a touchdown? It was a touchdown. I still think it's a touchdown. You could think in one hand, but the cameras say otherwise.
Like, you can look at the screen, bro. Look at the screen, though. Look at the screen.
I wish one of the reporters pulled out like their tablet and pulled up the footage and said, Lamar, his foot was out of bounds.
Here's the other thing. Droid, you know that when these quarterbacks, when they get to the sideline, they get an actual tablet to show them the plays, right?
Yep.
And what they did.
They didn't even look at it. They just went to the locker room.
They didn't even look at it?
They went straight to the locker room.
They did.
My God.
They did.
Oh my goodness.
Now, I am going to echo a statement that I said last year, and I keep getting proven right.
And that is?
Lamar Jackson has regressed.
This shows
badly.
It. This shows it. This absolutely shows it.
You should have, and in all fairness, to the ring rust of the Kansas City Chiefs defense, okay? In all fairness,
right?
There was ring rust with the Chiefs defense that will dissipate probably next week because hey, it's the world champion Chiefs.
Yeah, most ring rust will dissipate between next week and the week after,
Mm-hmm.
and we should be in good running condition.
You know
who's really got ring rust though? We'll say it in a different segment, but I'll tell you.
Okay.
You know something? Here's why I think Lamar Jackson. Here's why I believe. No, change that. Here's how I know Lamar Jackson has regressed.
Okay.
You made the biggest pickup in free agency in Derrick Henry.
Bruh.
And you only turned and gave him the ball 13 times.
13?
Let me say that again for those of you proud members of the flock. You made the biggest pickup in free agency in 8-year veteran Derrick Henry.
They won the jackpot. Getting Derrick Henry.
And they gave Derrick Henry the ball only 13 times. Meanwhile, Lamar carried the ball 16 times for 102 yards.
Why?
And also, how many times did Pacheco get touches? How many touches did Pacheco have?
I'll tell you right now.
I'm going to find out.
15 for 45 yards on the ground. And that's all I can find. But Pacheco...
He went over 100 yards because you have to combine ground with receiving.
He caught a pair. He caught a pair for 33 yards on 3 targets.
Yeah, 2 for 33 yards.
About 10 yards per target.
Yep. 15 actually. 15. And then average 3 yards flat per carry. Now, this is about Lamar Jackson echoing a statement I've said for a long time, and that is the fact that he has regressed. I get yelled at, barked at, wolfed at by members of the Ravens flock who love to say,
the Dodos
but
flock.
he's the MVP. But he's the unanimous MVP. For what?
The Dodos flock.
For what?
They only give Lamar the MVP because they don't want to give it to Mahomes 2 years in a row.
Exactly.
In
which he deserved it.
He does.
In which Mahomes deserved it.
Last year,
to take a look.
Mahomes definitely did not deserve it last year. He threw an interception to a Raider.
Listen, I know what my eyes saw in that game at Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City. And what I saw was a lot of back foot throws and a lot of most of the flock will not like me using this word. But you know something Lamar did a lot, which led to his 122 yards rushing?
What?
I saw a lot of panic.
Scrambling. It's like, bro, the reason why they got Derrick Henry and the offensive line help they got through the draft was because they wanted to take the pressure and the load off of Lamar Jackson. For some reason,
his offensive line couldn't even line up properly.
That's true too.
3 separate occasions.
That's true too. But for some reason, that is still a mystery to me. Lamar still wants to carry that massive load. I don't get it.
He wants to carry the rock.
Signed Derrick Henry.
But you got someone who is specially designed to carry the rock. And a few bodies afterwards.
I will say it again. They signed Derrick Henry. I will keep saying it until I'm blue in the face. They signed Derrick Henry. And you only gave him the ball
13 times.
13 times.
You know what this is like, Snowman? We've been talking about how badly the Philadelphia Eagles misused
DeAndre Swift.
And then the Ravens like, hold my beer. I can do worse. We'll get the one most dominant runners to date right now in Derrick Henry. But we'll only give him 13 carries. He should at least have 30.
The offensive coordinator really did say, you know what would be funny? And that was the story.
Yeah. Because here's the thing.
I mean, even Josh Jacobs, and I hate Josh Jacobs with a passion.
You think I don't either?
Josh Jacobs had 16 carries for Green Bay, which should tell you everything you need to know about the Packers right there.
Wait, Aaron Jones is the Green Bay running back.
No, not anymore. Aaron Jones is in Minnesota. Lamar, and to a point, Kyler Murray.
Oh, no. I'm stopping you there.
Why?
Call of Booty Murray. No.
He was just getting ready for phase. That's all it was. He just even, man, how can I get into phase?
Listen,
keep working on that.
I'm going to say quite a few. I'm going to say these things about Call of Booty Murray. He still played like booty yesterday. Arizona had this game in the back pocket. They led this game 17-3. And they let Josh Allen get loose. And then there's the mysterious factor that not only did Kyle Murray throw the ball 31 times and completed 21 for 162 yards, there's this little thing called he was also the leading ground gainer with 57 yards. 57. Meanwhile, your main running back, James Conner, only gained 50. I thought that the idea that Victor said earlier was to take the load off of your running quarterback so he can actually be a quarterback.
So they can pass the ball, so they can throw the football. I don't understand this.
I thought that was the idea.
But wait, so Droid, I'm going to ask you this question. Was this just Lamar Jackson trying to defend it like out of panic because he knew he messed up? Or is he just that unaware that, yeah, when a foot goes out of bounds, that person can't catch the ball? I'm just confused.
I think, like we were pressuring him. Chris Jones was pressuring him. He had to get rid of the run. And there was no way he was going to run it. So he had to just throw to the only man open. Isaiah Likely jumped for it, and he jumped a bit too high. And for those who failed high school, I'm sorry, but there's a thing called momentum and inertia.
Yep.
Yo, thank you so much.
Thank you, Droid. Woo! Nerds unite.
Man. It's momentum and inertia. His inertia carried him out of bounds by his toe. It's unfortunate. I understand Baltimore. You're going to complain about all the missed penalties, but you had a shot. And if Isaiah Likely slowed down just a little bit, literally maybe half of a mile an hour, that would have been a touchdown.
Easy.
There would have been no guarantees you would have won the game because you were going to go for the win. You were going to go for 2 instead of sending it to overtime and giving us one of the greatest opening days we've had in years.
Right. Which didn't happen.
It didn't happen.
So
because of one word. Inertia. I don't know if he failed physics or something, Ravens flock. The flock. I don't know if you failed physics in high school or you just completely didn't take it because you took those alternate science classes so you could avoid physics.
I couldn't avoid
physics. I want you to grab.
I couldn't avoid physics.
So, folks at home, find an empty can if you have one and drop it to the ground. What is that called?
Inertia.
Inertia.
Gravity inertia. Yeah. Or here's a better idea.
Now, just slightly toss the can. What happens? It moves away from you.
Yep.
That's inertia.
That is inertia.
Here's a better idea.
Or if you throw a pillow.
Now, if you were to run with this can and then throw it, it would carry the same speed as you.
Here's the other thing. Take a basketball and and just let it roll down a hill. What is rolling that basketball down the hill? That would be inertia.
It ain't LeBron James, thank God for that.
It's inertia. It's inertia.
It is. I couldn't help it.
As my physics
so if you can't understand that, like, people are going to be like, oh, he's trying to sound so smart. I know what I'm saying because I at least took physics.
It's physics.
Same.
It's physics.
Same.
I at least took physics. I wasn't the greatest at physics. I did pass physics.
Yeah, I passed too.
But it's basic physics.
It's the basic and the bare bones of physics is inertia. Everything in your life is based on inertia. Your fan is inertia.
Yes.
The way you move while you talk. You think you could just throw your arm? Do you know what Isaac Newton said? An object in motion stays
in motion. Unless an
object. And what was likely in?
Motion.
And what happened? You think he can? And the flock. You think he can just stop himself midair? You're ridiculous. No. Take your L. Move on to the next week, and we'll see you in the playoffs.
Please. That's what. Just please take the L. As my.
We'll see you in the divisional title.
In the divisional.
Not getting to the AFC Championship again.
Well, no, we're not gonna allow them to get to the AFC Championship because we're gonna beat them in the divisional.
Good.
Here's the thing.
Get him out of my hair, will you please?
This is the killer part, right? As my physics teacher would say, he would say, "It's Italian. Inertia. It's Italian. It's a lazy." Because unless you put another force to it, it's gonna keep going in that same motion at the same speed. It will not change.
Yep.
I think I did see a Chiefs player slightly push him, but you're allowed to do that.
Yeah.
Because the ball is already out of the hand.
And there's no force out rule anymore.
No.
The force out rule was removed, and I am so glad it was.
Same here. A lot
because
of cheap
it was
touchdowns
ridiculous.
anyway. All right. We got to go to Carolina.
Yes.
We'll come back and touch on Lamar Jackson and Jalen Hurts tomorrow.
Yeah.
Meanwhile,
you got college football to talk about, too.
Yeah. But we got a lot more business and a lot more fun to have.
Let's go to Southeast.
Here he is on the Invader Coffee guest line. Jay Spivey joining us from North Carolina. How are you, my friend?
Hello, guys. How you doing?
Good morning, Mr. Spivey.
You just cut Victor off. You were just like, I'm not talking with you.
No,
By the
that's
way,
fine.
guys, I heard
Listen,
you-
Victor
I got-
has been with me for what, 23 years?
Yes.
He knows me. Jay,
guys, I heard your previous segment. I didn't know we were going to have lessons with Science Bob today.
Well, to be fair, Ravens fans need it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
How many Ravens fans know what inertia and gravity are?
Can we get a show of hands? Oh,
They're-
0. Thank you.
they're Raven fans, and to a point, they're Cowboy fans. So I'll leave that alone. Speaking of fans, there's a certain fan base that our friend Jay Spivey deals with that got spanked in the Superdome yesterday.
Forget we had this conversation last Monday on the show.
Yeah.
Forget what I said when I said the Patriots were worse. Because clearly after yesterday's games, there is only one bad team.
There's only one that can be the worst.
Mm-hmm.
They are beyond horrible.
There's a word that I love to use. There's a word that I love to use a lot to describe what I saw in the Superdome yesterday. And that word is abysmal. And I think I'm being nice when I say that, considering the fact that before Bryce Young and the Panthers knew what hit them, they were down 17-0.
I was just going to ask this, Mr. Spivey.
Atrocious, even.
Mr. Spivey, is the tanking job already in?
Well, I mean, thankfully, that most of the trade is still is over with. They have to give the Bears a second round pick this coming draft. But still, who are you really going to draft this year?
I don't know.
This draft is actually pretty weak. This is a fairly weak draft.
I'll say it again, y'all. And Jay has heard me say this. Victor's heard me say this. Droid, Shane, everybody familiar with the show has heard me say this since it happened. To the Carolina Panthers, to the Chicago Bears, you not only sacrificed, but you have now risked your entire future, and the same applies to Carolina, for DJ
Moore. And honestly, I'm going to say this. It wouldn't have been any easier for Bryce. Let's be realistic. It wouldn't have been any easier for Bryce if he had went to Chicago. If Chicago never traded the pick and selected Bryce.
I will say this, guys. I will say this. Yeah, I followed Alabama. I watch Alabama almost every Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
And he was a great college player, and I support him. I thought he'd be a good. I know he's only 18 games into his tenure at whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
You got to start asking. You got to start asking the B question at this point: is he a bust or not?
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
That question should have come out halfway through last year.
I mean, he has really, really struggled.
Okay. I'm just going to say it. I'm going to talk to you as if like we're mentioning hockey, because remember Jack Hughes in his first year with New Jersey? He sucked. He was garbage, trash. But you know what he eventually ended up doing?
Let's look at yesterday. the Saints aren't exactly world beaters, and they beat the snot out of them.
No.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you got an amazing defense in New Orleans. Their offense is nothing to,
Three of the four quarters, the Saints put up double digits. 17 in the first, 13 in the second, and 10 in the money period. This game was
over midway through the second quarter.
Thank you, Jay. You just beat me to the sentence I was going to say. This game was over midway through the second period. Everybody, matter of fact, Victor said it earlier in the show that there should have been apologies given out.
Yeah, they should.
There should have been apologies given out to Carolina Panther fans for actually expecting a competent ball game.
And people wonder why when people ask me what I'm going to do on a particular Sunday, I never watch the Panthers. Never.
Mm-mm.
I always, unless they're the single game, whether it be a night, it has to be a night game because they're the.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're almost never in a single game otherwise.
No.
But I've told you guys 1,000,000 times. I watch Red Zone on Sundays. I don't watch the Panthers or any other single game.
Right.
I watch Red Zone every single Sunday. That's what I did yesterday. I barely saw any of the Panthers game yesterday. I don't care.
There's nothing to, because I know how Red Zone works. They usually show you the key moments of the games.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
There's no key moments in that game. It was just stop after stop.
Scott Hansen, who's the host of the show, he said midway through the second quarter, he said, "Let's face it," he said, "this game's out of hand. We'll show you when they score." Well, it was over.
Yep, it was done. It was done.
And the Saints and the whole division, the whole NFC South is awful. I mean,
gosh.
So I mean, how
So
much?
do we call this? Do we call the NFC South the tank division for a third straight year?
This division is terrible.
I want the Falcons to finally shut everybody up, but Kirk Cousins is not helping me at all.
Droid.
No,
I'll say it. I'll say it
Arthur
again.
Blank is not helping you at all.
No,
yeah, I agree.
No, there you go.
You give Kirk Cousins a fortune, and then a few weeks later you draft
the quarterback for no reason at all, because you put everything on the line for Kirk Cousins. And I hate to use his nickname here, but I'll use it here.
Arthur Blank.
Arthur drew a blank. Arthur drew a blank when it came to quarterbacks in Atlanta.
I'm going to say this for the 8 millionth time on your show, Snowman. The biggest problem with the Panthers is not the players, it is David Tepper.
It's Tepper.
Mm-hmm.
And every time I bring that up, people think I'm nuts. David Tepper is the biggest reason they suck.
David Tepper will forever be the reason the Panthers suck. And until he goes, that's where the Panthers will be, mired in mediocrity.
Let your football team people run the team, not him. Let your football team people run the program.
Mm-hmm.
It's not even
he has the money
anymore.
You write the checks.
It's not even mediocrity anymore.
It's worse.
It's worse.
Mediocre would be kind.
Bad. Yes.
They're far beyond mediocre.
This is bad. This is bad.
God awful.
Panthers may end up going winless.
I wouldn't be surprised.
On paper, yes, but I still think they'll sneak up, beat somebody.
Who would they beat?
Anybody?
Well, it's happened. What, one time in the last how many years that a team went winless? I mean, it rarely happens in the NFL.
Mm-hmm. But who would they sneak up on and beat?
There's always somebody out there.
They should have snuck up and beat Saints.
Even though they look like world beaters yesterday, you know the Cowboys gonna suck up and lose to somebody.
They were not world beaters at all, Mr. Spivey. I'm sorry. The Cowboys escaped. They escaped with that victory because Cleveland was starting to chew their way back. They were starting to claw their way back.
Mm-hmm.
Only problem was that their quarterback is Deshaun Watson. But if they had made a change,
mm-hmm,
the Cowboys might have actually lost that game.
But the question is,
and I know you got to pay your quarterbacks. I get that. I know you got to pay your quarterbacks. But the fact that Prescott's getting $60 a year,
40 million,
how?
$240 million. 40 million. For
60
what?
a year.
60 million a year, and for what? And for what?
Because it's Dak Prescott. And
That's
what
only
has
going
he
to carry
won?
so far, though.
I'll say it. I'll say it again the way I said it earlier in the show. You're paying Prescott $60 million a year for 2 playoff wins. 2.
Yeah.
The same way the Atlanta Falcons are wasting a ton of money paying Kirk 2 Chainz Cousins for 1 playoff win.
Yeah.
And drafted a quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
The Cowboys were not. Oh boy.
Spivey, I had the unfortunate job. I acquired the unfortunate job myself to try my best to defend Michael Penix and Kirk Cousins.
All summer.
Kirk Cousins is not helping me anymore. He's not helping me back.
Yeah.
How did Ben
Sutter the entire summer trying to defend you, and this is what I get?
How did Ben Sutter put it?
What?
Y'all know it very well. And if I see Kirk 2 Chainz Cousins, and he played like it, and he looked like it, and this Atlanta Falcons team, as I've said, is going to struggle bad.
And who do the Cowboys have this week? That's correct. The Saints.
Oh, boy. Wouldn't it be funny if the Saints snuck up on the Cowboys and beat them?
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, it would be.
I'd be so angry.
But I
I'd be
still
so
think
angry.
the Saints are not a very good team.
I'd be so doggone angry.
If the Saints beat the Cowboys, we're not going to hear the end of it in the group chat from Vicola.
Oh no! I'm not going to say a word. But the problem is that I'll end up being on the ground. I'm going to be on the floor.
The best part of the Cowboys is their defense. It's not the offense.
Yeah, because we don't know what the hell the offense is. Let's be totally real. We got play-by-play with JJ in the chat. The Eagles have an easy schedule, and yet the Eagles are going to miss the playoffs.
Ooh.
Not after what I saw in Brazil.
Listen,
easy schedule, my eye.
Why won't they sign Chase? Why? It's just the Bengals are being the Bengals again.
Of course.
Of course. Chase.
But, well, you know the reason. They're greedy.
Greed.
Paul Brown is one of the cheapest. Paul Brown is so cheap. He doesn't. Come on. Sign the guy.
I mean, Paul Brown reminds me so much of Hugh Culverhouse when he ran the Buccaneers.
Actually, Snowman, I got something to say.
Talk to me.
I apologize to the Washington Redskins fans. We forgot that your defense is awful, and we said you were going to make the playoffs.
I apologize
apology for Snowman, and I apologize for myself.
I make that same apology.
There's another overrated.
And JJ is going to get on me about saying team names correctly. JJ, we just did. Us old schoolers call them the Washington Redskins.
Here's the problem. I said this before. It was going to be a bit of a struggle for those guys.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, I was proved to be correct. But how do you look so bad? Again, how do you look that average against the Buccaneers?
Talk to Caleb Williams.
Well, the NFC East is not much better than the South is.
Mm-mm.
No, it's not.
No, the NFC East is up for grabs.
I literally had a visual from my
I will use the words of my favorite announcer of all time, the late great Jim Durham. The NFC East is up for grabs.
I literally felt so bad for my man Brother Wise because I knew he was having a problem watching the Giants game.
Oh my
Lord, was he ever?
I'm like,
I couldn't even watch the Giants, and I was watching Redstone just like Spivey was.
Starting with those uniforms.
Oh God. Those remind me of Montreal Canadiens uniforms.
Oh, shut up.
But
those are hideous.
Am I wrong?
But I want to get back
I don't like that you're right.
I do want to get back to the situation with the Panthers. It's like, are they just giving up, or is there something going on? Because like,
let me.
Are
Victor,
they uprising against Tepper? Because Tepper needs to be. They need to slay him. They need to rise up as a nation.
When I first hooked up with Jay, from a person that will remain nameless,
right?
When I first hooked up with Jay, Jay told me, "Look, I will tell you the exact reason I'm not on other shows." I said, "What's that?" He says, "I tell the truth about the Carolina Panthers." My next 3 words were, "Bring it on."
We need that.
Not just the Panthers, all of his team.
Yes.
All Carolina.
And the other person who spoke the truth about the Carolina Panthers was their former voice, Mick Mixon, who was my partner for 2 years. The entire time I was in Carolina.
It's just that
I looked so forward to talking to both Jay on Monday and Mick on Thursday.
It just seems like there's just no sense of urgency from this team. This team played so lackluster.
Well, let me repeat the question of Jay Spivey.
If you think they're bad, how about the Hornets? They're just as bad.
Oh, geez.
Oh, the Hornets are.
And I saw and you know what? In 2020, I saw the Hornets in person.
Hold on, Snowman.
Yes.
You know, one of my favorite players, besides MJ and Charles Barkley, is Muggsy Bogues.
Muggsy Bogues,
Always love Muggsy Bogues and Larry Johnson. I don't even acknowledge the Hornets as they are now. I do not acknowledge that team.
I find it funny that the only good team in Carolina right now plays hockey.
Are the Kings?
Carolina Hurricanes.
People laugh at me.
And Jay has said that for the length of time he's been on this program, which is now stretching into 3 years.
I want to ask y'all a question. Who was the last Carolina team to win a championship?
The Canes. That would be the Hurricanes. They won the Stanley Cup in 2006.
Was the best run organization in North Carolina.
Well, also Wake Forest, even though it's a college team, I still love Wake Forest.
Well, I do too, but they're. I mean,
I would rather take Chapel Hill
against Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
I'll take the University of North Carolina Chapel Hill over Wake Forest.
I saw them in person, and I'll discuss that another time. But
let's put it this way.
I had a chance to see the Hornets. I had a chance to see the Hornets in person.
So this was pre-COVID. Pre-COVID.
Yeah, right before the pandemic smacked everybody.
Okay.
I had the thrill and the honor of working with my dear friend Bill Schoening, the voice of the Spurs, when the Spurs came to Charlotte and played the Hornets. Now, I wanted my wife to go with me, but unfortunately she couldn't. She wasn't feeling well at the time. So I drove from Henderson to Charlotte.
What's a haul? That's a haul.
That's a haul and a half. But considering the fact I was being paid for it, I went with it. I drove to Charlotte, got in the place. Everything about the arena is awesome until I saw the team on the floor.
Ugh.
I saw that and nearly threw up everything I ate. And remember, folks, this is pre-surgery. This is pre-cancer surgery that I'm talking about here. They had a layout among layouts. Okay, the only other 2 places in the NBA that I can compare the Spectrum Center to is the United Center, very familiar territory, and Gainbridge Fieldhouse in Indianapolis.
Home of Caitlin Clark.
Yes. Home of Caitlin Clark and nobody else. I saw that Hornets team play that night. They held a 16-point lead at the end of 1. 16.
How much did they lose by?
1. 104 to 103. They climbed. The Spurs climbed back to within 9 at the half. Within 4 at the end of 3. And held on for dear life all the way to the end of the game. And you know something that the Spurs did that the Hornets didn't do the second half of that game? Make their free throws.
This is your boy's favorite team.
No, he ain't my boy, and that's not my favorite team. Dang it.
How many times have we preached that, Snowman? How many times have we preached, make your freaking three throws?
How many times have we preached on this program?
This NBA, it's not asking a lot to make your free throws.
No,
it's not.
You're making an
free
absolute
throws.
fortune.
And you can't
even
drop
the 12th guy on the bench. Even the absolute last guy on the bench is making a lot of money.
Yes.
And you can't hit your free throws?
Is it that hard to ask you to make your free throws?
Well, given what I saw in Charlotte.
Yes.
Yes. Given what I've seen in Charlotte since they rebranded the team, yes.
So now I ask this question. What do the Panthers faithful, do they still hold on to hope, or are they just throwing their hands up?
They threw their hands up. I'll answer that question.
I think there's a lot of them over there who still believe in them.
Still?
Until David Tepper either changes his ways or sells the team, they're going to remain like this forever.
Mm-hmm. They're done.
The only Panthers that never gave up hope is down in South Florida.
Yeah.
And you know what happened when we didn't give up hope? We won a fucking cup.
He just snookered the city of Charlotte. They're getting ready to make a half $500 million in improvements to the stadium.
Mm-hmm. $500 million to improve Ericsson Stadium. And yes, I still call it Ericsson Stadium.
It's just a travesty, man. And I'm originally from North Carolina. I was born off Camp Lejeune. And when I found out that Carolina had a football team, I'm like, yeah, I want to go all in. I had a jersey, had a coat, all that. I can't wear that stuff now.
I remember you wearing that jersey.
Well, possibly because I'm a little,
And don't get me wrong, actually, I love Carolina sweaters. They look amazing. I like them. I like the blue.
Yeah.
But I can't root for this team. It's so badly managed. The ownership.
Jay, how many times have we said, Jay, on this program, that the only winning team in Carolina right now is the Carolina Hurricanes?
But yet he ignores them like the plague.
You know
because
what?
he doesn't like hockey.
Let me tell y'all a story, and then I'm gonna let Jay get out of here. And Jay knows what happened. When I was running my show on that particular network, which I will not name here, I was signed a contract to get money for every sponsor I ran on my show within a 4-hour period. He only paid me for one of them. Let that sink in.
It's just...
He only paid me for one of them. And on top of that, I voiced 2 of the ads that he ran. I voiced them.
Well, you know what happened to me? I was supposed to write 4 stories.
Yep.
ACC basketball previews.
Yep. And it was
told me I
supposed.
was going to get paid.
And that was an extension of his website because it was called That Website Plus.
That was
remember
4 years ago. I've still not been paid a penny for it.
Well, he's got a lot to pay me for what I ran on his show for a year, including my podcast version.
It's just I'm starting to question now which owner is worse, McCaskey, Kraft, Giral, or Tepper. And it's starting to lean towards Tepper.
Tepper.
It's not even close.
Tepper. I was gonna say Ty, but then I thought of all the stuff that Tepper has done.
It's Tepper. It's not even close.
It's Tepper. We got to get out of here. Jay Spivey joining us here as he does every single Monday. Thank you, my friend. A delight as always. We'll see you next Monday.
All right, guys. Thank you.
Have a great day. God bless. Remember to make your next move your best move. And always remember, if your dreams don't scare you, they're simply not big enough. Dream big, do bigger. We are, and we hope y'all are too. So long, everybody.